Breakpoint, 15 countries, 12 finalists, one amazing vision. Empower Caribbean companies to take on export markets. Over 13 weeks, we meet more than 30 companies selected from over 15 Caribbean countries. We follow their journey, from their first coaching sessions at the University of the West Indies School of Business in Barbados, where they not only learn the fundamentals of business communication, but have all of their presentations individually reviewed and critiqued by business development educators. Amazing advice, unparalleled insight. Dedicated entrepreneurs vying to convince 4 judges to choose their company to be among the 12 finalists who travel to London to make their final pitch in front of angel investors, distributors and retailers that could change their future and move them forward. Over the last 8 weeks, we've followed the journeys of 30 companies, and for 12 of them, that journey has led all the way to London for their opportunity to present their business proposals to industry moguls. Breakpoint is an initiative of the Caribbean Export Development Agency designed to give regional businesses the training and opportunity to expand into the European market. Last week on Breakpoint.
This is my passion, really.
An investor who sees interest in this is not going to say, well, let's wait 5 years for you to get to the level of being ready.
Of course not. There is machinery sitting in China that on a phone call, they would come and set the whole thing up and stay until everybody was trained.
You're going to the big cities, etc., but are you going to the lead buyers in each of the large department firms?
No, the trade shows. When you go to these trade shows, everybody's there.
The regional judges viewed presentations from 4 budding entrepreneurs vying to win the chance to pitch to venture capitalists in London. Who will it be? The visionary producer of recycled paper? Or the convincing fashion designer with an eye on Europe? It was a tough choice, but the judges decided that the Trinidadian fashion house Mailing would go through to the next round in London.
I'm well positioned in the market, well positioned in the Caribbean. I think my name is a brand, a serious brand that is known throughout the Caribbean, a brand that has paid a lot of attention to detail and marketing, a brand that now deserves to go have a further reach.
Tonight we have 4 prominent panelists. Let's meet them. Notable distributor Fraser J. Thornton has been Managing Director of LaSalle since 2011 and also serves as the Chief Executive Officer of CL World Brands Limited. Mr. Thornton has worked with Burns Stewart Distillers for over 12 years, specialising in corporate finance.
When I heard about the initiative, I just thought it was really interesting, the opportunity for these Caribbean businesses to be looking for outside help outside of the Caribbean to help take their products to market. So having spent time personally both in Europe and in the Caribbean, I thought I had a personal mix there that was going to be quite interesting.
London-based technologist Keynes Emerua is the founder of Real Angels Global Solutions, a consultancy that helps develop businesses in Africa and the Caribbean. For over a decade, Keynes has created or led various media projects for clients including T-Mobile, L'Oreal, and BUPA.
It's almost like great part is a part of us. This is actually fundamentally about what we're into in terms of investments into areas of growth and opportunity. The people who back RAGS and who back the businesses that we're into are primarily businessmen and women from Africa. So the actual interest is actually forging and developing relations with new businesses. So without a doubt, I would have been here one way or the other.
Driven and successful entrepreneur Jonathan Fowle established the Rockstar Mentoring Group in 2007, which has companies in 3 parts of the world. Even though he's still in his 30s, he has already mentored over 50 people with great success.
I decided to be involved with Breakpoint because I think it's a fantastic opportunity for business owners from various parts of the Caribbean to expand their organisations into the UK, one which I'm very passionate about, helping businesses from outside of the UK invest and get their businesses and products in.
Preeminent businessman Doug Richard has over 20 years' experience in the development of technology and software ventures. He was a featured investor in the first 2 TV series of Dragon's Den and has been a guest lecturer on entrepreneurship at Cambridge University.
I decided to be involved with Breakpoint partly because I'm always interested in new young companies. I have a long-standing relationship with the Caribbean because I used to work there when I was young. And finally, I'm working with Caribbean Export in the hopes that we can bring some of our programs into the Caribbean.
Let's now take a look at the criteria for Breakpoint. The candidate must show a clear opportunity for the product in the market. The firm must demonstrate a competitive level of product innovation. there must be a compelling position on which to build the brand. The product must be in a position to benefit from the advantages of the EPA. The firm must be able to show market readiness for entry in less than 6 months, and the candidate must be able to show industry knowledge and possess management and leadership experience. It's been quite a journey for the candidates. Back in the Caribbean, the first step was to submit a video pitch. The successful firms met with top mentors at the Cave Hill School of Business in Barbados for analysis of their business model and advice on presenting their pitch. The candidates moved forward with their new skills to the regional pitches, which took place in 3 countries: Barbados, St. Lucia, and Jamaica. Leading Caribbean businessmen and women judged their presentation and business plan and decided who would win a chance to pitch in London. We begin with the family-owned Woodsman Caribbean Limited, which produces Caribbean-inspired condiments and food products.
I liked how he's portraying the Caribbean, with the Jamaica plus the Trinidad in it.
At his regional pitch in Barbados, Vassal Stewart had a positive experience both with his presentation and with the taste test for the judges.
I feel quite satisfied that the presentation went well. If I'm to judge from the judges' response, which was, I think, very positive.
Woodsman have come a long way since their beginnings in 2006 in Trinidad and Tobago. Their aim has been to develop a blend of Jamaican and Trinidadian flavorings and to export these Caribbean-inspired condiments to Europe. Now on the verge of making his pitch to angel investors and venture capitalists, chairman and major shareholder Vassal Stewart was feeling positive.
I feel quite confident. I think the product we have is a product that will speak for itself. It's a first-class product in terms of its flavor profile. It's a penetrative product with great aroma. We think that this really reflects the Caribbean cuisine, and once we're given an opportunity to have the investors sample the product, I think that they will find that this is one of those products that will become an international product in the same way that jerk has become international.
Don't miss what happens next as Vassal Stewart makes the first presentation to angel investors and distributors in London on Breakpoint. Caribbean-inspired condiments producer Woodsman intends to introduce their unique blend of Jamaican and Trinidadian flavorings into Europe. Chairman and major shareholder Vassal Stewart makes the first pitch of the day to a panel of angel investors and venture capitalists in London.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Let me thank you for not only supporting exports from the Caribbean, but more so specifically taking the time to listen to the possibility of investment in Woodsman Caribbean Limited. So what we have done is to use spices and combine them in specific proportions to develop 2 new products. Initially, we put the product out on the market as a barbecue, or both of them to be used as barbecue products. And then we recognized that people were in fact using these products for a wide range of uses. I recall specifically someone had asked whether they could get the product for a cookout. In Trinidad, they tend to have cookouts on the weekend. And he wanted it for curry duck. And I said, man, this is for barbecue. And he said to me, what are you talking about? This thing can be used for any darn thing. We use it for curries. We even put it in our rums. The public thought that this product was a multi-purpose product that they could use in a range of ways. Our vision is that these 2 products can become one of the top 10 ethnic sauces in the world and ethnic seasoning. That is our vision. We have a confidence in the product because of the consumer response we have seen to it. We believe that with the right support and marketing, that these 2 products can become an international favorite in the food service sector and in the household. In fact, currently, we supply only at this point in Trinidad the food service market. What is our core business? How is Woodsman Caribbean going to get this product to be an international product, to be among the top 10? We don't believe that we ourselves have the resources to take this product internationally. Therefore, our focus in terms of our core business would be to focus on finding a partner that has the capacity to distribute and promote this product internationally. We see tremendous opportunity in terms of the return on your investment. Depending on what your markup is, you can begin to see a positive, significant return on your investment of over 50% in year 1. Because we're not asking you to make significant capital investment. So we are ready. We have the product, we have the management system, we have the supplies, we have the capacity in terms of human resources. Our price is competitive. We are low risk. and you could see early return on your investment. So we are looking for this pan-European distributor who has the resources. So at last what we have is another Caribbean sauce that can complement the world-famous Angostura bitters. And a seasoning that is as exciting as our world-class rums, our cocoa, our coffee, our ginger, and gentlemen, I don't have to tell you about the athletes. So this is the time for this investment to be made. Thank you.
It's a solid presentation, and Vassal Stewart was hoping to cinch the deal with a taste test of his product.
You ready, boys? One of those moments in life. All of his money's riding on this taste.
Gentlemen, if the flavor doesn't do it, then don't put the money. The sauce is really more of a Trinidad, Jamaica spices. We have the capacity to adjust the product to meet any specific market need, so that the fundamental spices and the flavor profile remain essentially the same, but we can make the adjustment. For example, I recognize that you have a bit of a challenge with the degree of pepper.
No,
we can adjust. You don't? Okay.
Bit of challenge with the fact that I didn't have any water.
Water, okay.
Those obvious containers you've got there, the foil packs. I mean, we're not seeing these at this stage on shelves.
No, indeed, I simply did this to just demonstrate what is possible. Currently, we are not in the retail segment. In fact, only about 3 weeks ago, ILO have approached us as to whether we put the product, because they use it now for pre-season meats in the supermarket.
Okay. One of the things that I liked what you're saying is that you really want to, you want to expand and get it out there by, selling this product under other established brands which are already out there. Yes. Who have you, have you spoken to any of those key brands yet? Have you done this presentation to them and said, what are your thoughts, boys? Would you like your brand in front of this?
Only in Trinidad.
And how's that been?
Very well. We now have an offer from the largest food distributor or food service company in Trinidad to carry the product.
What company in the world would you like? Who's the perfect partner? Who's the one that you think you wake up in the morning going, that's the one I really want? What's their name?
Kraft.
Thank you. Do you pick Kraft because of their sheer size? Or do you pick them for any other attribute?
Size, recognition of the brand name, and they already have begun to look at Caribbean and ethnic products.
Yep.
They're already there, they understand the market, they have the international reach, they have the brand recognition.
That's fine. I think the same comment to Walmart applies to Kraft. Very difficult to achieve, probably an excellent outcome if you got it.
Oh, absolutely. That is not to say that if we have opportunities with other major distributors.
No, I asked the question in that spirit.
Do you feel you're ready to present to Kraft?
How soon?
Do you feel you're in a stage now to actually present the opportunity to someone like Kraft?
Absolutely, because we have the supply infrastructure in place. What we need now is the market opportunity, the distribution network, and the capacity to penetrate the market.
What is the capacity? Because I don't really get you want an investment or an equity investment for your business.
No.
What you're looking for is somebody to carry it forward in terms of the sales. So if the sales quadruple within 6 months to a year, how are you going to manage that without any other capital investment to make that happen?
No, we can get the capital. In Trinidad, we are in a fortunate position that sourcing capital or funds for capital investment is not a challenge. The issue is, when you make the capital investment, do you have the market to support it? So both from the private sector as well as from government agencies, sourcing the capital is not an issue.
Okay.
The machinery and equipment can be easily sourced. In my other hats, you'll see in the cards I gave you, I'm also the CEO of Trinidad and Tobago Agribusiness Association. So we organize farmers for production. I'm also the president of the Caribbean Agribusiness Association. So regionally, we have a network of suppliers. So raw material is not a challenge. The productive capacity we could ramp up pretty quickly. So our challenge is to find the right partner with the resources to take this international.
I'm afraid we've run out of time, but I think you've got a wonderful sauce, a fantastic flavor. And I'm still recovering, but I loved it.
I agree. Thank you.
It's great stuff.
Thank you very much.
I thought it went extremely well. They were extremely pleased. In fact, they all asked for samples of a product to take home, which I think is perhaps the most indicative way of saying, hey, this product is something that we believe in. All 4 judges have indicated that they will follow up and that they see this as a product that is quite distinct from anything that they have tasted. They did in fact taste both the sauce and the seasoning. Even though the hotel wouldn't have allowed us to bring in cooked product. They actually taste the product simply from the initial aroma. So I think we have a product on our hand that definitely can be an international winner.
Factoid about the Economic Partnership Agreement, EPA. The EPA promotes integration in trade relationships and cooperation of the European territories in the Caribbean, such as Aruba, Bonaire, Curaçao, Guadeloupe, Martinique and St. Martin. There are 3 more leading Caribbean companies with a chance to pitch their business model in London on Breakpoint after this. Now we move on to one of the leading agro-processing manufacturers in Jamaica. Central Food Packers Limited exports 90% of its output and impresses the regional judges with its range of over 20 products.
I think it's a very strong point that you have, that you dominate your local market.
Although she was nervous at her regional pitch in Jamaica, marketing manager Natalie Grandinson represented well.
Central Food Packers Limited, manufacturers of Sunright and Sunright Select brand, highest quality Jamaican foods you'll find on the export market.
Since their early days in the 1980s of canning a single product, this Jamaican food manufacturer is now not only a major player at home, but has an eye on the European market. And, at the point of making her presentation to angel investors and venture capitalists, Natalie Grandinson was feeling upbeat.
I'm excited to be here and I'm just a little bit nervous, but I hope everything goes well. I've done some preparations and I'm just going to leave it in the hands of the Lord. I'd like to first start by thanking the European Union, the UK Aid Programme and the Caribbean Export Development Agency for this opportunity to share our company with you this afternoon. The business began operations in August of 1985, processing one product for export, ackee. Today the company employs over 300 persons from the environs of Central Village, and we now produce a range of over 25 products. Our range include baked goods such as bammies, cassava bammies. We have canned vegetables, ackees, callaloo, breadfruit. We have a range of jerk seasoning sauces and marinades, other condiments as well. We do jams, jellies, chutneys, and roots wines. Ethnic foods are becoming a mainstay in the European market. Approximately 70% of all European households are now buying ethnic foods. So we see that there's still a lot of potential for what we have to offer in the marketplace. In fact, our current demands for new products have doubled in the last 3 months. My desk is overwhelmed with new requests. In order for us to take advantage of these opportunities that are fully present to us and to remain competitive, we have undertaken 3 new initiatives. The first of which will be to expand and upgrade our manufacturing facility. In this expansion upgrading exercise, what we are seeking to do is to automate additional processes which will allow us to increase our production efficiency, introduce new product lines which will allow us to offer a greater product range for ourselves as well as for our private labeling customers, and even get new private labeling customers by offering new types of packaging, particularly PC packaging. We are also looking to acquire ISO 22000 status accreditation for the facility to ensure that we are always globally competitive in all our markets. We are also looking to increase our distribution of our current markets. We have had about 15 clients that we've been working with for the past 10 years, and we think that we have the ability to do more, particularly by advertising our private labeling services, which we believe is aptly supported by the excellent port infrastructure that we have in Jamaica, particularly for smaller manufacturers in the Caribbean. And by doing this, we'll increase our sales. So coming out of this Breakpoint initiative this afternoon, we are seeking to identify an investor to put some £570,000 into the business, which we'll use in the facility upgrading exercise. We are looking to identify new channels of distribution, particularly for the gourmet line, which we believe can cross over into the mainstream market, as well as some mentorship in developing and building our brand, which even though we have a good reputation, our brand is not as strong as it needs to be. Thank you very much.
Natalie had done her best, but angel investor Jonathan Fowle was anxious to find out more about her current expansion program.
The expansion and what we're looking to do here, just confirm, are you yet in America, Canada and the UK?
Yes, we are.
And you're selling these products via the main supermarket chains or via the boutiques?
In In Canada and the USA, in the USA and the UK, we are in some of the mainstream supermarkets, but we are in under a private label. It's not our brand.
But Sunright is in small ethnic stores already in the UK?
In the UK, in Canada, in the Caribbean, and in the USA. Primarily in New York and southern Florida.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Can I ask, how are you managing that business? How are you managing your business into those countries?
Well, in terms of the private labeling, we just ship and deliver to our customers. Our managing director, since 2009, what we have done is he has established a marketing department which manages and does the client relations. We have done some rebranding, redid the labels, developed some collateral material. I'm currently in the process of meeting with the agents and the distributors that he currently has, which have just been calling and placing orders, to sit and work with them to outline potential marketing programs that we can do to help support them. We have also launched the brand locally in Jamaica last 3 months with a local distributor, because what we have found with what we call third generation Jamaicans is that they buy based on brands, and your brand gets big if it's known in Jamaica. We have primarily been an export company, and we've been primarily doing private labeling, so we know that we need to build a brand in Jamaica and add additional support to our current distributors. Because our relationships are primarily with distributors and agents and not with the retail end. They sell to retailers. But if we support them, then they'll get more business.
Do you see the margins, the gross margin you earn on private label, being better or worse than what you earn on your own brand?
It's smaller.
Yeah.
But what it does ensure is that there is stability for your staff. And once your staff feels secure, then you get the best out of them. They're certain that these brands are strong brands in their markets, and they'll know that every 2 weeks we'll be loading a 40-foot container for this company. So it creates that stability, which encourages them to give us their best.
Where are you looking for future markets? Because you've been established in Canada and Europe for some time now.
Well, in terms of Europe, we're only in the United Kingdom.
Okay.
So we went and we looked at some of the shows in Europe and Nuga, and there is a market there for us, we think, to private label some of our exotic flavors, because the sauces market is in a mature stage. Emphasis is on premiumization, it's on packaging, it's on flavors, and we think we have something to offer some of those companies there now.
So I put a 570 grand in. How do I get money out?
Well, you're going to be entitled to 20% of the business.
Then I have 20%. Now how do I get my money out?
That's negotiable.
No, it's not. It's a plan of action. It's not a negotiation between us. It's what
there
we plan
is,
to
but
do.
we anticipate that there will be a payment process, but we will be working with you on.
A payment process. So
Yes.
I'm lending you the money. I'm not investing.
You can lend the money. And
I don't want to lend the money. This is an equity investment. I want to see a fully fledged plan. And a fully fledged plan means if my money goes in, my money comes out. You're standing there asking for investment and you don't have a plan of action for the investor to make money. Here's your two choices. You can issue dividends or you can sell the company. Actually, there's three. You could IPO, but I agree that that's an unlikely
It will be by dividends.
It would be by dividends.
It will be by dividends.
So therefore I have to take taxes into account on the profit
Yes,
I
you
would
will.
make. Okay.
It was positive. I enjoyed the experience. I presented my story. I got asked the questions I expected to be asked. One hard one, but it was good. I enjoyed it, and they're really a great set of guys, and I'm sure they'll find something interesting to invest their money in while they're here.
We've got two more excellent businesses looking for their opportunity here on Breakpoint. We'll be right back. Hailing from Trinidad and Tobago, Smacks Tea is a family-run business specializing in organically grown and custom-flavored bespoke tea. The company was founded in 1980 and focuses on craftsmanship and brand quality. The creative director for Smacks Tea is Kieran Akal.
The Smacks Luxury Group is a family-owned business that was founded about 17 months ago on the back of a luxury business that my family's run in Trinidad for the last 31 years. We are actually primarily focused on tea and tea-related products, and we're aimed squarely at the luxury sector of the market.
Heading into his London presentation, creative director Kieran Akal was feeling confident and found Breakpoint a useful process to re-examine his business model and brand strength.
I think any sort of opportunity like this presents the real-life situation of talking about your brand and your product to a critical and broad marketplace, and so it provides you with the opportunity to reassess constantly where you are with your product, what ideas you are succeeding with, and which ones you have maybe perhaps are not connecting as well as you might have thought. My name is Kieran Akal, and I'm here to present this company that I founded about 17 months ago called the Smacks Luxury Group. It actually was founded on the back of a family business that's about 31 years old, but was essentially a retail operation, a small boutique on the island of Trinidad. I'm presenting to you today actually for the first time our new logo, our branding. We wanted to create a symbol that was iconic, that could last, that could go into the global market, and that would be synonymous with the idea of luxury and the West Indies. Tea is the fastest growing segment of the beverage market. It's at $7.4 billion and it's expected to go to $15 billion globally by 2012. I had read that back in the 15th century and in the 16th century, admirals, particularly in the British Navy, were drinking tea and rum mixed together on the boats. When I tried the concoction in my own kitchen, I realized that there was something really, really special there. But instead of just making this grog, I thought that if we took a sophisticated gin or cognac approach to this, there may be something in this to create something spectacular. And we found that to be true, and I'm going to allow you to experience what that's all about later this afternoon. Just quickly looking at the UK market, it's grown by £208.8 million in the last 5 years from 2006 to 2011. What's interesting about the market is that the regular teas, the plain black teas, have fallen, but that in every other category it's gone up. 61% on green, 31% on herbal, and 150% on what you call other teas. So what did we want to do? Well, we wanted to approach it from three ways. We wanted to approach it from the luxury end, which I said to you. We wanted to approach it from a new generation of tea, something that we could sell, take ownership of, and people would have difficulty imitating. So I like to say it's a new generation tea experience where the jasmine and the rose meet the cinnamon and the clove, because that's what we have in the West Indies, but we're also bringing in the European influence. In terms of innovation, we wanted to look at ready-to-drink tea markets, and this is the way we see it packaged and bottled, Jessica, if you don't mind. And we looked at this idea of the rum tea. It is the first rum made by an infusion of botanicals and tea, and the idea is that it's a sipping product that doesn't have as high a volume as a cognac, but it has all of the qualities of it in terms of the nose and the actual complex palate that it has.
Yeah, no, this is very good. What's the strength of this?
It's 30% ABV.
Yeah, it's right down
but
there.
I'll tell you what the plan is, which is interesting. We went for that because we think that the women's market for after-dinner drinks is something that's underexploited completely.
That's interesting. I thought you went down there so that it didn't overwhelm the tea.
But no. Because we can go to 40%, but we decided to go for 30% to start. And actually we have two or three others. You'd like it.
I like it at 30.
You like it at 30.
Yeah, absolutely.
People find it very drinkable. You know, very, very drinkable.
I managed to somehow.
You managed it down.
Yeah, I did.
I see everyone managed it down.
After the product was sampled and Kieran had delivered a strong pitch, Jonathan Fowle wanted to find out how Smacks intended to move forward.
And that's the line of products to start. Chai rum is the number one that we are looking to start with straight away.
Yes, exactly. Chai rum, the bitters tea, and with the other teas, what we felt is that the chai rum would give us the fastest luxury entry into the market.
I agree. So Harrods, Selfridges, you probably weren't here before, but we've actually helped a number of companies get in, and we've got very good contacts within that high-end retail market.
Yeah.
How's that been going for you so far?
Well, what we wanted to do is I didn't want to pull the trigger on entering that market until we were completely finished. We've got the rum finished now. We've just decided on the bottle shape that we're going to use. The logo was actually finalized only about 2 or 3 weeks ago. And what we're doing now is in the next couple of weeks, we're pulling together the entire packaging down to the gift box. We have costed out the product. We know what we think we can retail it at. It's a very healthy profit margin, as you know, on alcohol, pretty similar to perfume. And the idea is that if we box it and package it properly and we look at all the regulations, we can probably enter the market by sort of the beginning of next year.
Okay.
Yeah. The other thing I was going to point out, the other point I was going to make was that we saw that we could create a library of these chai rums because the nuances in the taste when we worked with different types of blends of botanicals and teas was quite complex. So for example, we did another one that took you almost into the range of kind of like a whiskey, a single malt whiskey, because of the use of tropical orange blossoms and actual different types of teas. So kind of like the gin, or the approach of gin.
You've got a very distinct product in the chai rum product.
Yes.
Though I admire, and I truly do admire your brand work, because
Yes.
I don't often see stuff that my first instinct is that's really well done, which is my instinct with you.
Yeah.
It is nevertheless the case that I disagree with you on your assertion that there's only 3 or 4 other tea brands to deal with.
Right.
Because though I can intellectually accept that there's only 4 that you find, at the same time I'm quite conscious of the fact that it's a heaving market of very small players. And thus you still have a complexity of market in that the sheer density of small players in the market is going to create noise.
Yeah.
And I haven't heard how you're hoping to break through in the British market where you've got that fantastic audience to sell to and your beautiful product.
Yes.
You still, I think, have a market entry challenge.
Yes, I agree with that in the UK with the teas, but what we are doing at the moment is that we're focusing, for example, we're trying to take ownership of the luxury tea market in the West Indies. There are 2 things that we looked at.
I'd have to taste it to believe that as on a standalone basis that taste flavor would be a tea taste flavor.
Yes.
Am I the only one who has that notion? I could be odd man out here.
Well, no, you could taste both the rum and the tea, but that's what I thought made it so unique.
Distributors tea, not rum.
The tea itself. Yeah, I mean, I
That's a product unto itself.
I decided to choose the rum this afternoon, but I...
Great conversational choice, I promise.
Yeah, so I thought the tea, but the tea we're very, very happy with it as well.
Fair enough.
It's in a sort
Makes
of
me
an
want to
emperor's
taste it.
tea. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So the tea, so I can understand, the tea is the drive brand for the UK.
And the chai rum and the rum. We thought we don't want to enter the market with everything to begin with. Where we're building our financial strength is that we're finding that the uptake, for example, by the hospitality industry in the Caribbean on our general tea range is great. We're going into the Ritz-Carlton in St. Thomas in November. We're going into Jade Mountain and Anchastanay in St. Lucia. And we've done it with not much effort because the minute the hoteliers realize there's a tea that they can say, Tobago Afternoon, Bermuda Pink, Grenadines Purple, they're finding that it's something that they can relate to. They get the Caribbean twist. There are 250,000 hotel rooms in the West Indies. There's a huge tourist trade and there's a cruise ship trade, which is what we're really set our sights on. So for example, one of the things I've identified is that RCCL, Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines, has no tea concept yet for Royal Caribbean, but their competitor, Princess, has introduced it, so they're going to have to introduce something soon. And I've positioned myself so that I can actually now go in to somebody like Royal Caribbean and offer them a package that says this is tea and you can't get it on any other cruise line. This is Royal Caribbean tea because this is the luxury brand of the West Indies. So we see an opportunity there. There, over 21 million tea bags we estimate will be required by Royal Caribbean annually.
Thanks very much.
Really well done. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Oh, it was fantastic. Always like good questions. They had asked very relevant questions after I made my presentation, and I just thought the whole experience, it's always enriching because it makes you think more deeply about your product and about the things that perhaps you haven't thought about in terms of marketing it.
Here's a little bit more about the Economic Partnership Agreement. Regional trade in the Caribbean will benefit from European cooperation for development to make their economies more competitive. See how the final Canada performs at their presentation to angel investors and venture capitalists in London when we return on Breakpoint. The Biotech R&D Institute is a Jamaican research and agro-processing firm that impressed the regional judges.
It had some innovative strengths, and I rated them highly for that.
Deputy CEO Charlene Ashley had put on a convincing pitch in Jamaica and had taken full advantage of the regional judge's advice to stress the uniqueness of her product.
We are very confident in our products, the differentiator in our nutraceuticals as well as our teas, and of course the porridges and our sports drinks with the tubas, the yellow yam, the sweet potato, which has been proven to contribute to the Jamaicans' athletic prowess.
Biotech's vision is to enhance the quality of people's lives and create nutraceuticals and wellness-related foods and services. It aims to commercialize products from Jamaican indigenous plant resources and break into the UK market. Heading into her pitch in London, Charlene was feeling positive about her journey thus far.
I made it to London and I'm about to see the investors. Feeling pretty confident. We've done a lot of work to reach this far, and this is the end of the road, at least the first step for us to start a new chapter. And we're feeling pretty confident. We know that we've done a lot in terms of research and development, and we have very, very, very good products. Market proven. We know that persons are going to indeed be very interested in our products, and of course we're going to now show that to the investors. Good afternoon, gentlemen. I'm Charlene Ashley, the Deputy CEO of the Biotech R&D Institute. With the knowledge that Jamaica is rich in naturally occurring herbs, the benefits of which have been passed down in tales and folklores by our mothers and our grandmothers, Dr. Henry Lowe, a leading scientist, decided to take to the lab to confirm the truth of these tales. His research started with a simple plant growing on a wire, the Balmus plant, or as we call it in Jamaica, the old man's beard. And from that, a line of nutraceutical products was born. In lab tests carried out by University of Maryland, isolates of Balmus were proven to demonstrate strong anti-inflammatory and tumor reduction along 5 cancer lines of in vivo tests. Dr. Lowe's peers are now humbled as they witness the results of his research, resulting in a patent valued in excess of $10 million US. We all know Jamaica's Usain Bolt, Johan Blake, and Shelley-Ann Fraser, and I've heard much talk around the foods which have contributed to their athletic prowess. The Jamaican yellow yam and the sweet potato contains a unique profile which provides a burst of energy combined with the consistent and slow release of sugars needed for sustained performance. We have therefore created a formulation using the sweet potato and the Jamaican yellow yam as the baseline ingredients in our line of porridges. Our line of sports drinks contains a well-known cola nut. It has been specially formulated to maximize muscle performance and convert carbs into energy, with the sports drink market being in excess of 3.15 billion euros. We aim to tap into the post-Olympic market with our line of functional foods, which will enter the market in short order. So what is the underlying magic? It's innovation through science. The idea, of course, is born out of a plant growing on a wire. We boast products that are healthy, safe, and proven, supported by patented research and trademarks for brand protection. We have a differentiated product line with cross-functional brand efficacy. Our packaging designs are simple yet confident, bearing an earthy feel, while with the confidence of color, which allows it to merchandise well, while reinforcing a brand that is trustworthy, reliable, and indeed caring. Our target markets within the EU include UK, France, and Spain. Our selected routes to market include the identification of chain stores and wholesale clubs, the identification and partnership with major homegrown distributors as well as specialized distributors, the identification of geographically strategic fulfillment centers, which will allow us to deliver our products quicker and more cost-effective to our customers. In leveraging the brand and converting the store to sales, the major strategy will be to maintain current market growth while encouraging constant expansion. Ensuring that our products are produced to the highest international standards, ensuring packaging compliance, strong in-store market implementation programs, and effective off- and online programs. We've experienced sales figures in excess of 114,000 euros within the first 2 months of going to market. Our overall projected sales is therefore 119 million euros within the next 6 years. The overall potential for the market lies at 211 billion euros. A critical milestone for the company will be the creation of a commanding presence in both local and international markets.
It's a convincing pitch, but Keen Zemarua was concerned with how the changes to EU legislation regarding nutraceuticals would affect biotech's company.
You know, in the EU, there's some laws being introduced, or they've already introduced them, concerning supplements and concerning non-big pharmaceutical herbal remedies, among other things. How susceptible are you to being affected by these laws coming in? And if that's the case, what will it cost so that we can get certified and sell them in this market?
But what we have done, the packaging that you're looking at now is not for the EU market.
Okay.
We've done a lot of research in terms of what the labeling guidelines are and what some of those laws are. And so the team is currently working on those. So those are part of our work in progress.
It's actually not to do with the packaging, it's to do more
with the ingredient.
Yeah, I don't know the details of it, but I know that when it comes into effect, it's to
fortunately
affect a lot
for us, we did not identify any major ingredient that they have listed.
Okay.
And they had a long list.
Yes, that's right.
That were in any of our items. It's most of the work that we really have to do. There's slight work on the ingredients, which we've already spoken to our contract manufacturers, but most of the work is actually making some adjustment to our packaging.
And can you remind me the investment amount and what is it for?
420,000.
And for?
Primarily, it's for marketing and export development. It does also include R&D.
And how much is that in terms of equity?
4%.
40 or 4?
4%.
Numeric 4.
It
Okay.
works up to 4%. Yeah.
I maybe missed at the front of the presentation the current shareholding structure in the business.
Go ahead.
As in who owns the?
Dr. Henry Lowe is the major shareholder. We have a number of shareholders. 70% of the shares are actually between the University of Maryland, University of Technology in Jamaica, Dr. Henry Lowe, and I'm telling you out of my head while I look at the numbers.
No, I thought there may have been a sort of a university
There is
participation.
University of Maryland, University of Edinburgh, and Technology.
So when it comes to selling out a portion of this business,
right.
are there complications with the shareholders
No.
there agreeing to that, or is there a shareholder agreement that allows?
They are minor shareholders. The major shareholder is Dr. Henry Lowe.
Okay.
What percentage does he have?
He is just over 50, close to 60%. Yeah. And so we really have 30% shares that are available for any kind of investment.
So 7% was the combination of the universities, did you say? I thought you said 70%. So 7%.
No, 70% is what is owned. So we have 30% shares available.
Did you say 114,000 euros in 4 months worth of sales?
2 months.
2
in the
months.
first 2 months of going to
And
market.
which product or products has that been?
Would be our line of nutraceuticals and herbal medicinal teas.
Okay, so purely for that, so teas and the
Just
and
teas
the
and
supplements.
supplements.
Teas and supplements for
Yes.
now. But the porridge and the sports drinks are all ready to go.
They're ready to go. We're finalizing the packaging for our sports drinks. Everything else is ready to go.
And into which countries? The sales that you've already made?
Primarily in our local market, Jamaica, but we also have experienced sales in US, EU, as well as Canada. But these sales are not through distributors. They're all direct sales.
Okay.
Typical type of margin you're achieving at the moment, or gross profit?
We range between 120% on our teas through to about 40% at the lowest end for our supplements. Okay. And that is with us including a markup of an average of 80% after we've sold to the distributors. We assume that they're going to mark up 40% and then the market will mark up an additional 40%. It was very interesting. I enjoyed it and I've learned a lot. Obviously, it will give significant exposure to not only biotech as a company, but also to our brand, the Eden Gardens Nutraceutical brand. The investors that were there all were very impressed with the product and showed significant interest, and so we're expecting and hoping that we'll see very positive results.
Let's recap this week's contestants. Caribbean-inspired condiments producer Woodsman intends to introduce their unique blend of Jamaican and Trinidadian flavorings into Europe. Chairman and major shareholder Vassal Stewart believes Breakpoint has been a useful experience for his company on many levels.
We believe that opportunity allowed us to take a second look at our strategy, allow us to fine-tune it, and to now have a much clearer idea as to how we want to position and market this product. The opportunity to present here again allow us to begin that process of breaking into the international market. So I only have positive things to say about Breakpoint, actually.
Jamaican food exporters, Central Food Packers, have come a long way since their early days of canning just a single product. Now with a range of over 20 products and exporting 90% of its output, Central Food Packers is now not only a major player at home, but has an eye on the European market as well. Marketing manager Natalie Grandinson felt Breakpoint was an excellent experience for her confidence and stretching her professionally.
I am generally a very shy person, and it really pulled me out a lot, building confidence and not being camera shy. And it's been a great experience for me. I think now I am a lot bolder.
Trinidadian family-run custom-flavoured bespoke tea company Smacks Tea was founded in 1980 and focuses on craftsmanship and brand quality. Creative director Kieran Akal has recognized the importance of Breakpoint for honing his presentation skills and extending himself.
It brings you out of the context of just operating within the Caribbean market space, and it shows you the types of questions and the types of issues that you need to deal with abroad, so it's been incredibly valuable.
And Jamaican nutraceuticals company Biotech R&D Institute aims to commercialize products from Jamaican indigenous plant resources and break into the UK wellness industry. Deputy CEO Charlene Ashley felt Breakpoint was an excellent experience for coaching and development.
I think Breakpoint was a very good experience. I think it's something that should continue. Whether you win, lose or draw, whether you reach to London or not, companies would have been coached, they would have been trained on the things that they need to think about with their brand, with their company, how to present that and how to, sell the company. Then of course you're brought in the other element when no business people are being exposed to your brand. So I think overall it was well thought out. Obviously as they go on they will continue to improve on the different areas based on feedback, but overall I thought it was definitely a wonderful experience.
Don't miss the final episode of Breakpoint in 3 weeks' time, where we will take a look at what has happened to the 12 firms since they went to London. Here is the contact information for each of the firms represented in today's show. We wish all our firms every success with their business.
So I say, let's plan our vacation, and suddenly everyone's on Liat.com. My wife announces she'll Liat.com, a nice hotel near restaurants and shopping malls. Must hide credit card. The kids want to Liat.com fun activities, and since someone has to be the sensible one, I'll Liat.com flights, or travel insurance, and a car. Well, sort of sensible.
Liat.com. What else do you need?